With AI getting smarter and more powerful every single day, there's this huge question looming over all of us. Who's writing the rules? So today, we're going to dive into the world's very first global agreement on AI ethics, a plan to shape our shared future with this technology.
I mean, think about it. From the news that pops up on your phone to maybe even the medical advice your doctor gets, AI is just everywhere. But here's the thing. This tech isn't neutral. Not at all. It's built by people, it's trained on data, and it has the potential for incredible good, but also for some serious harm. So it all comes back to that big question, who's making sure this is all being done responsibly?
And that really gets to the heart of the problem, right? On one hand, the promise of AI is just massive. It could help us solve huge scientific problems, protect the environment, enrich our cultures. The potential is just incredible. But the flip side is just as real and, frankly, pretty scary. It can lock in and even worsen biases, create new forms of discrimination, threaten our privacy, and just make global inequality even deeper. So when you're staring down a challenge this big, how do you even begin to create a set of rules that everyone, from the biggest tech companies to the smallest nations, can agree on? Well, the world's answer was basically, let's try and write this thing together. And that's exactly what happened. Under the umbrella of UNESCO, the UN's big cultural and scientific body, this incredible meeting took place. And we're not talking about just a handful of countries here. This was a massive global consensus. Yeah, you heard that right. 193 countries. The sheer scale of this is what makes it so important. It's huge. It shows that pretty much the entire world agrees that AI ethics isn't a local problem. It's a global one, and we've got to tackle it together. So, what came out of all this? This landmark document, the recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence. And what's really interesting is that it's not a bunch of strict, rigid laws. It's called a standard-setting instrument. The best way to think about it is like a global compass, right? It's meant to point all AI development in the right direction, towards human rights and dignity. And if you look at the text itself, its main goal is super clear, to provide a universal framework of values and principles. So the idea isn't for UNESCO to tell every country exactly what laws to pass. It's more about providing this shared foundation of values, a starting point for everyone. So how does it all work? Well, it all starts with some core ethical principles. Okay, so the whole recommendation is built on three main ideas. Think of them like three foundational pillars for building AI that we can actually trust. Let's dive in and break them down, starting with pillar number 1. All right, the first pillar. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly profound. People first. This one idea is the anchor for the entire framework. It's all about making sure that AI serves humanity and not the other way around. So what does people first actually mean in practice? Well, it boils down to 4 key things. First, respecting our basic human rights and dignity. That's non-negotiable. Second, actively fighting against bias and making sure AI is fair. Third, protecting our privacy and our data. And finally, and this one is so important, guaranteeing that a human is always in the loop. AI can be a tool, but a person has to be responsible at the end of the day. Okay, on to pillar number 2. This one zooms out a bit. It's not just about individual people. It's about recognizing that we, and the tech we build, are part of this much bigger picture. The goal here is a thriving world. So this means a few things. For one, ethical AI has to think about its environmental impact. Training these massive models takes a ton of energy. It also has to be a tool for creating peaceful, just societies, not for building autonomous weapons or something. And of course, it's got to be sustainable, making sure the cool stuff we build today doesn't mess up the world for our kids and grandkids. All right, our third and final pillar. This one gets right into the nitty-gritty of the tech itself. Because for AI to be ethical, it has to be trustworthy. It's that simple. We can't just cross our fingers and hope it does the right thing. We have to build it to be trustworthy right from the very beginning. So what does that look like on a technical level? Well, we need transparency. We have to be able to look under the hood and understand how these systems are making decisions. No more black boxes. They've got to be safe and secure, so they can't be easily hacked or misused. And this is huge. When something inevitably goes wrong, we need to know who's responsible. There has to be accountability. Okay, so we've got these 3 awesome pillars. People first, a thriving world, and trustworthy tech. But How do you take these big, beautiful ideas and turn them into actual rules and policies that make a difference in the real world?
Well, the good news is the document lays out a pretty clear roadmap. It basically flows like this. You start with the why, those are the core values like human dignity. That leads you to the what, those are the principles we just talked about, and all of that points you to the how, which are the specific policy actions countries can take. And here's a fantastic example of that how in action. The recommendation says countries should make something called an ethical impact assessment a standard practice. So before some big, powerful AI system gets rolled out to the public, this forces the people who made it to stop and really think about the potential impacts on people's rights, on society, even on the planet. It's basically a mandatory think before you deploy step. Super important.
And this isn't just a one-off idea. This practical, hands-on approach shows up in a bunch of different areas. Like with data policy, the goal is simple. Give you control over your own data. For gender, it's about making sure AI is a tool to fight inequality, not make it worse. On the environment, it's about actually measuring and then reducing the carbon footprint of these systems. And with education, it's about making sure everyone has the basic knowledge to understand and navigate this new AI world, so no one gets left behind.
Okay, I get it. A global framework. 193 countries, policy action areas. It can all sound a little, high level and abstract. But I promise you, these rules are designed to have a very, very real impact on your day-to-day life. I mean, this isn't just for politicians in suits. This is about the algorithm that decides what you see in your newsfeed. It's about the AI tool your doctor might use to look at your X-ray. It's even about the smart toys your kids are playing with. The whole point is to build a layer of ethical protection between you and the code that's running in the background of all these parts of your life.
When you boil it all down, what this framework is really doing is defining your rights in this new age of AI. Things like the right to know when a machine, not a person, is making a big decision about you, the right to have your personal data kept safe and secure, and the right to have a real path to fix things if an algorithm is biased or discriminates against you. A way to actually get a remedy.
And all of this really circles back to one of the most important foundational ideas in this whole thing. You can't just blame the algorithm. The document is super clear on this. It says accountability, well, that always has to land on the AI actors, the people, the companies, the organizations that build and use this stuff. Basically, the buck stops with a human. Always.
So there it is. For the very first time, the entire world has a shared roadmap, a plan to guide AI in a direction that helps all of us. The big ideas are there, the practical policy steps are there, the global agreement is signed. So the only real question left is, are we ready to actually follow it? Are the developers, the governments, and, well, all of us, ready to walk the walk?